Welcome back, friends. I hope you checked your calendar because it is another Poetry Thursday. Because you can't have poetry without alliteration. Today we are reading Hyla Brook by Robert Frost. By June, our brooks run out of song and speed. Sought for much after that, it will be found either to have gone groping underground and taken with it all the Hyla breed that shouted in the mist a month ago like ghost of sleigh bells and a ghost of snow, or flourished and come up in jewel-weed, weak foliage that is blown upon and bent even against the way its waters went. Its bed is left a faded paper sheet of dead leaves stuck together by the heat, a brook to none but who remember long. This, as it will be seen, is other far than with brooks taken otherwhere in song. We love the things we love for what they are. The end. So Hyla Brook was published in 1916 in Mountain Interval, which also contains Robert Frost's most famous poem, one of the most famous poems there is, Road Not Taken. And you can kind of see some of the similarities, I feel like, between Road Not Taken and Hyla Brook, because neither of them are really about what you probably think they're about. The clue in Hyla Brook is that last line, which is so like, and I'm not going to say that I read this exclusively to have something to put on my Instagram, but, so we love the things we love for what they are. The whole of the poem talks about Hyla Brook, which, by the way, Hyla, when he's talking about the Hyla is a genus of frogs. Yeah, really. Just little tree frogs, and that's why he talks about, like, oh, the frogs are so damn loud this year, ugh. And if you're not really familiar with how water tends to work, when it snows in the winter, and then when the snow melts in the spring, all of the streams and the brooks and everything else get very swollen with the water, and that's when the brooks and the creeks and everything, that's when they are the most full of water. And then frequently as the summer goes on and it kind of dries up, and just naturally because all the snow's gone, and it gets hot and the water starts evaporating, so a lot of these little teeny tiny streams and brooks kind of dry up, and that's kind of what he's describing here. And then the frogs go away, but the last line kind of changes the meaning of everything else. Like, as it is, it's a very neat, nice little pastoral poem about, some frogs in a brook. There have been poems written about far less and far less meaningful. But by bringing the last line in there, it kind of changes the entire poem into an extended metaphor about love and the nature of love and the nature of who you love. And we've seen this a few times popping up, in terms of themes of talking about youth as spring, and then middle age is kind of like once the spring of your youth begins to fade, like that kind of, now you're a little bit older, you're not quite as cute, you're a little long in the tooth, your hair is probably kind of crazy because where you live it's crazy humid in June. But in talking about how the brook changes over time, he's kind of talking about how his love interest changes over time, and also how his love for someone might change over time. When you're young, it's very easy to love someone. You love your parents, you love your grandma, you love your aunts, you love... My son is 5, and anytime he meets somebody new and he thinks they're cool, he's like, are they my best friend? Like, he'll ask me, is Mr. Whoever my new best friend? Yeah, I guess so, buddy. But as you get older, the love is harder to find, and much like a dry creek bed where you might not know that it's a creek bed unless you were there when it was full, your love might go away, but you knew it was there and you knew you loved it all along. Kind of like how I love poetry, and then all of a sudden I took a Like 15-year break to just play video games and write about video games? It's okay to change your interests. It's okay to change, like, period. I think is where he's going with that. As long as you have a solid creek bed underneath you, the frogs will come back next spring. No wait, because that would mean that you resurrected somehow. If you like talking with me about Robert Frost, make sure to give this video a thumbs up. And if you haven't yet, make sure you subscribe so you never miss a Thursday. I'll see you guys next time. I hope.